Thank you, Lynette.
Thank you.
Mr. Dice.
Yes, the first ordinance is an ordinance to provide for an amendment of the 2008-2010 capital improvement budget.
Lynette, if you would explain once again.
This is money that was left over from our 2008-2010 capital improvement projects. We are asking for allocation of $60,000 to the police mobile radios, $25,000 for our fob system, $30,000 for our UPS system, $80,000 for a new phone system for the municipal building, and $30,000 towards computer purchases, which would be for our senior center.
Motion on the floor.
Motion to approve.
Wait, I think we have to
Second.
take it off the table.
Question?
Yeah, oh, yeah, we need to
take it
do.
off the table.
Yeah,
It's
point
on
of
the
order,
table.
yeah. Motion to remove from the table.
Second.
Roll call, Sharon, please.
Mr. Ramsey?
I have a question.
Oh, sure, I'm sorry. This is just to take it off.
Take it off the table.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Ramsey?
I know what we're doing.
Mr. Duncan?
Aye.
Mrs. Allison?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mrs. Strumheller?
Aye.
Dr. Griesbach?
Aye.
Mr. Erb?
Aye.
Okay, now, motion on the floor.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Questions or comments? Steve, you had some.
Yes. I personally would like to see this tabled again because of the funds. We did not get any quotes in for the radios. To my knowledge, we haven't had any quotes completed for the fob system of $25,000, the UPS system, $80,000 for the phone system. I haven't seen any quotes on that.
Well, normally, Councilman Duncan, we get the money approved and allocated, and then we go out for bids and proposals or quotes or
Well,
If it comes in less, you would have the extra money to reallocate
extra money if it comes in
somewhere else.
more.
that's
than we
why I
would.
asked that it be tabled, that possibly we could have gotten some of these quotes and we could have seen real figures.
Well-
Now I'm going to ask again that we table it. And another thing, this money, if these items are needed, I'm fine with it. But as Mr. Erb mentioned, we currently have a road that collapsed in Monroeville, and now it's closed, Old Ramsey Road. In the mid-'90s, we invested roughly $800,000 in that road. And in the early '90s, that was a lot of money. It's still a lot of money, but $800,000 into a road that just collapsed on us last week. Now the road's closed. If you're a resident in that area, you're going to be very upset that we're going to purchase phones and radios when the roads collapse.
And
Mr.
before
Duncan,
you-
are you
be-
making a motion to table?
But he has had comment on this,
But
and
my
before you had
explanation-
a second,
And that money can be used to repair that road.
The motion-
and before you had a consideration of a second, since you've commented, I want to remind you whether or not, because we were all here Thursday discussing how the phone, which is already blinking,
And I understand.
affects, how that turns off and affects the dispatch system when that goes down. And to not have at least allocated something that you can look into and taking the chance that closes that
I'm fine with
communication.
that.
You're fine with that?
If we need those phones to keep the 911 center in this building up and running, do we know it's going to be $80,000 for phones?
Regardless
That
of
was
what
my
it
question.
is, the risk of not looking into
I
that
agree with looking in.
is-
That's
no,
why I
it's
tabled it. I
real.
wish we would have had an amount, hey, Steve.
When you bid anything
60,000.
out, you get an amount, and then you go to bid. I mean, you do that for every project, you do that for
But
any...
an estimate.
That's...
We don't
get
have
it.
any
Well, how do you
But
get an estimate on
I think that's
all
where
the
we came
capital
up with the number.
improvement?
Where did we come up with these numbers?
We kind of gotten ballparks from several different salespersons that have
It
come
was
in.
never explained.
Yeah, we'd like to see those, maybe if we get those in print,
Yeah, I
as
mean,
far as the...
could we as council see these?
Once again, Steve, are you requesting a tabling?
I would like to request a tabling.
Is there a second?
Second.
That supersedes the other, am I correct, Mr.
There's no
Dice?
more discussion.
No
You
more
have to vote.
discussion. Roll call, Sharon, please.
Mr. Erb?
No.
Dr. Griesbach?
Aye.
Mrs. Strumheller?
No.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mrs. Allison?
No.
Mr. Duncan?
Aye.
Mr. Ramsey?
No.
Like it always is. There's a motion and a second to approve this. Do we have to do
I just-
roll call? Roll call, Sharon, please.
Mr. Ramsey?
Aye.
I'm sorry, this is for,
voting to approve this amendment, the first ordinance.
For the capital improvements.
No.
No. Mr. Ramsey, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
He said aye.
I said aye.
Mr. Duncan?
No.
Mrs. Allison?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
No.
Mrs. Drumheller?
Aye.
Dr. Griesbach?
No.
Mr. Erb?
Aye. Next, Mr. Dice.